So we've been hearing today about these different e-commerce experiences and innovation that's taking place. One of the topics that I'm particularly interested in is how brand manufacturers engage with retail partners to drive sales, how they deal with third parties, how they create relationships, and how they ultimately engage consumers together. One of the pioneers in this space is Ram Narayan Iyer, who works on the consumer channel marketing organization at Microsoft, selling products such as Xbox. And I'd love to talk to him today about how he's working with third parties and how he's connecting with consumers to drive them along the purchase path. Hi, Ram. Great to have you here today.
Great to see you, Piers, and thank you for this opportunity to be part of the Retail Innovation Week. It's always exciting, to have a conversation with you.
Well, you've been on a stage before, and you always kind of bring a great flurry of new ideas. Talking about flurries, how was the holiday season for your business?
This year's holiday appears was a digital first in many ways for us. We saw our online mix across retailers go up by almost 3 times. It's taking a leap ahead in time by almost 10 years in terms of growth. So it's a huge leap forward from an e-commerce perspective, which we saw. What this meant was that, and the biggest takeaway is that we really had to adapt to this new buying from consumers, especially consumers who were buying online for the first time. And I call it consumer first. The first time you're buying something on a social post, the first time you're having a virtual consultation, the first time you're doing a click and collect transaction. So we did see a lot of consumer firsts that happened this holiday, and our retailers really had to adapt to these new behaviors. And in that sense, I think what's most important is that, when you look at digital experiences, while it's important to focus on the attributes which are most important for consumers, from the standpoint of fulfillment or checkout, it's even more important that we really provide a great experience from some of those brilliant basics that really matter to consumers. So make it easy for consumers to search or discover products, making sure that we're solving for choice and making it easy for consumers to buy, and really looking at providing accurate content on product detail pages, and also making sure that you have a quick page downloads. So some of the brilliant basics is really important. It was really heartening to see that most of our partners were able to really maintain and respond to the surge in terms of traffic, and we really didn't have any surprises in terms of sites coming down or any of those situations. So the retailers, I'm very grateful to our retail partners, especially from an infrastructure standpoint, to really have done a stellar job there to really make that brilliant basics experience really great for customers.
Within their e-commerce portal, or where they tend to do most of their e-commerce business, what new ideas or tools are being leveraged or being used today?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. I think the biggest innovation that we see here is really trying to infuse that in-store feel or that IRL feel into that URL experience that consumers have online. Many of our partners have really embraced this idea of video consultations, with customers, where they are giving one-on-one consultation at an appointment time which has been prefixed, where the retail pros are, through the video consultation, offering consumers the ability to understand their needs better and also help them find the best product which is best suited for their needs, and also complete the transaction in many cases. So we see that this as a key theme that's really emerging. Complementing this theme are two ancillary kind of ideas which are there, and one is of live streaming. We've seen live streaming front and center, especially in our Greater China region, with partners like Taobao Live. We've seen how they've enabled and made it easy for brick and mortar retailers to come on their platform and make it easy to not only provide education to consumers on new products and launches, but also make it entertaining for them as a part of that experience. And we see that trend now democratized and catching up across the other parts of the world as well. The other interesting thing is also, how do you get near physical experiences within your home? So with the help of web AR, how can you actually see the Xbox console almost like it in a store within the four walls of your home? So we also see web AR becoming more popular with all our partners.
That's really interesting, Ram. I think there's obviously some interesting themes going through there, and that intersect. Whether it's talking to the store associates, live streaming. There's a bunch of real-time commerce happening within that e-selling experience. Can you tell me a little bit about beyond the portal or beyond the e-commerce store? How are you working with partners, and how are your partners thinking about social commerce and kind of other areas where they can connect with customers?
That's really a great question. Social is a very, very interesting space. We see social platforms transforming from advertisers and publishers to actually becoming, in many ways, like retailers do, especially with the creation of instant storefronts. You now have the ability to really buy straight from the post, and what's even more interesting is the ability to dynamically target and retarget customers, based on their purchase intent. And this is enabling you to, in many ways, hyper personalize, I would say, the experience for customers, and really make it very easy for them to really buy at the click of a button, because you're actually shortening the purchase path in many ways. So we clearly see social becoming a very, very important part of the play when it comes to both from an acquisition standpoint and from a fulfillment standpoint with our retail partners.
That's interesting to understand how social is changing that path in a way and speeding up the process. Can you tell me a little bit about the role of third parties anyway? We live in a world of DTC. A lot of the products you sell are electronic products which lend themselves arguably to DTC. Why does the Microsoft organization invest in partners? What's the opportunity there?
It's a really great question, Piers. Again, our third-party retailers just provide us this unprecedented reach and scale across the globe. It's very difficult to really match that scale that our partners provide through our own direct to commerce engines in many ways. What's also important is that many of our partners have built very strong brand equity and relationships culturally within various geographies and regions around the world. And so it's a great opportunity for us as Microsoft to really combine the power of our brand along with our partners' brand and create that unique value for consumers and reach customers. So we truly believe our partners are very integral from that standpoint to drive our growth ambition.
That's great. I think Microsoft products often have an ecosystem of accessories around them, which allow Microsoft to have an ongoing relationship with the shopper. I wonder whether you can kind of lean into how you're investing in not only the purchase experience but the post-purchase experience.
Microsoft's products, as you know, especially when it comes to Microsoft 365 or Office or Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, these are subscription products, and these are products that offer, new value to customers and to really complete the solution. If you buy a PC, you need the Office apps to complement, to get the full power of the PC. To play the games on the Xbox console, you really need that the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, which allows you to play all the games that you want to really play. So, I think the most important thing here from a post-purchase perspective is to really embrace the subscription mindset. It's not just about the device, it's about the device and the service, which actually completes the entire solution. And so we really have to kind of think of it from that lens. And the other interesting thing with subscription products, as you'd be aware, is that we constantly add new features and new value to customers through new to product innovation, which keeps happening on an ongoing basis, or new games that are introduced as part of the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. So it's very, very important for us to make sure that we are helping consumers discover some of this new value which is being offered, but also drive usage, because at the end of the day, engagement in the usage is what's really going to drive the renewal at the end of the first year of the subscription. And that's really important from a customer lifetime value perspective. So post-purchase engagement becomes very core and central to that long-term value that we create with consumers. Another interesting area for post-purchase engagement of late, which we are seeing, is the ability to really seek feedback from customers and get to understand from them their perspective in the form of ratings and reviews. Especially in the post-pandemic world, we are seeing that a lot of consumers are dependent for purchase affirmation through ratings and reviews. So it's important that from a post-purchase perspective, we also go back to customers, listen to them, and hear their feedback in terms of their product experience. And that's a valuable source of customer voice, which we get, which is so critical for us from a customer obsession standpoint.
Well, Ram Narayan Iyer, Worldwide Director of Digital Strategy and E-commerce at Microsoft, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're such a practitioner in the retail space, and you sweat the detail, and you're so involved in so many different aspects. It's always revealing to talk to you. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Piers. It was a pleasure being with you today.